Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This is your NCIS Season 17, Episode 6 preview. We got some interesting stuff to go through within this one because we're gearing up for, I think, what is going to be a big Kasie Hines episode. We will discuss some of what that might mean, but we'll also share some expectations for some other characters along the way, including Ziva. Could she be back soon? Will we be paying a visit to Slib Street? Is that where Gibbs' house is with everything else that we've seen on this show? What's next for Bishop and Torres? We'll talk about a lot of things, but before we do anything else, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The best way to make sure you don't miss any other updates. We have an NCIS reaction to tonight's episode coming up soon, and we've got a lot of other fun stuff there as well, but let's start with this question. We're having a Kasie episode coming up.
Yes.
It's the first one we've had in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What do you want to know about Kasie that we haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh, well, if that's the case, then everything. There's so much about Kasie that we just don't know. We haven't had very many really good looks at Kasie's life and her family life or her personal life, who she's dating, if she's married, if she's got any kind of life outside of it. What are her hobbies? What does she do? I know that she likes 50s music like I do. And I know that she can sometimes get a little crabby like I can. But besides that, I don't know really enough about her. I want to know a lot more. We lost Abby. She's moved into a different part of her life. And now we've had Kasie for a while now. And while we've gotten to know her a little bit in the office and how she works and how she interacts with people, we haven't had a really good spotlight in a while into her life. What is she like as a friend?
Here's the funny thing. Yeah, we're going to learn a lot about what Kasie is like as a friend in this episode. But also, here's a reminder. We didn't see Abby's house on NCIS for like over a decade in the time in which she was there.
It's true, but we knew a lot more about her and her personal life.
They don't give us a lot.
To be fair, there was a long time for us to get to know stuff about her. But over the time that Torres has been on the show and Bishop's been on the show, they're still, they've been around for a while, but they're fairly newer characters. Yeah. We've learned a lot about them. And now we've had Kasie for a little bit. Long enough that we should know a little bit more. So I, for one, very excited to see this Kasie episode. I want to know more about her. I just love her.
Well, here is what we know. Kasie is going to be at the center of this case, mostly because there is going to be the death of someone at a welcome home from prison party, which, to me, this is a really rotten time to kill somebody, by the way, especially if it is the person who just got out of prison.
Yeah.
It's like, can't they just, have their first meal, enjoy themselves for a little while?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's clear whoever did this has been waiting for them to get out of prison for a very long time.
Yeah.
Obvious implication there. But the problem is the person who is the suspect is Dante. And who is Dante, you ask? He is Kasie's longtime friend. It seems like they have been friends dating back to childhood. So
it's a long time, so he'll know some stuff about her.
Yeah, he's got all the skeletons in the closet here, which is appropriate because we're giving up the Halloween here. But this is all going to be exciting and it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the drawback, and we should point this out, it's not airing next week. It's airing in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
November 5th. It's going to be a little bit of time before we get around to that on the other side.
But we are still going to have videos coming up here next week for NCIS. We've got a couple things planned, so stick around. We're not going to let you down. We will be here talking about NCIS.
Yes, no rain, sleet, snow, or repeats will keep us from these discussions.
That's right.
But Dante, he knows a thing or two about Kasie. He knows what's going on with her. I think he's going to be a useful source of information, and that's exciting enough to completely overrule the fact that this is straight out of crime procedural 101, the classic, either a main character or a friend of a main character or family member of a main character.
Yes, is accused of a crime.
Yeah, and then we see them clear their name.
Yes.
Provided, of course, that Dante is not actually a killer, but it doesn't feel...
Probably not.
Like, is Kasie gonna hang out with killers and take a job at NCIS? Unless this is some elaborate Kasie is a part of a secret underground ring of criminals and she is hiding her allegiances in plain sight.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna happen.
Probably not.
But do you want to see Kasie out in the field in this episode?
Yeah, I would love that. That would be great. We haven't had a lot of chances to see her outside the office either. There's a lot of potential with this episode for Kasie.
There is. Yeah, and I've seen some photos already, and you see her talking with Dante at what appears to be prison. He's wearing the classic orange jumpsuit. So we know at least there's some Kasie out of office stuff that is coming up. But let's also take a look at the bigger picture for everyone on NCIS. Because we're now 5 episodes in. We're almost a quarter of the way through season 17.
Already.
Time flies, everyone. And really, now, I mean, a big question everyone's going to wonder is, when is Code de Pablo coming back? Yep. We were promised 4 episodes.
Yep.
We have only seen 2.
Yep.
As far as I know, I have not seen Code back on the set yet.
I haven't. I've seen people talking online saying that they've seen or heard or whatever, but until we know for sure, there's nothing to report.
Yeah, I think she's going to be up sooner rather than later, but it's pretty clear she's not going to be in this upcoming episode, so don't go into it.
And I'm okay with that, because seems like it's going to be a big Kasie episode. And if Ziva's in the mix, then it's going to be a little less about Kasie, a little more about Ziva, and that's for a separate episode.
Yeah, we will have our Ziva spotlights again. I think typically in NCIS, they will give 1 or 2 episodes a season to just about everyone. I mean, we're going to be due a Jimmy Palmer episode at some point, whether it be later this year or early next year. He will get his moment. More of the agents, they kind of get stuff sprinkled here or there throughout the season.
They do.
It's these other people, like Ducky. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get a full-fledged Ducky episode, but it feels like at least for Kasie and Palmer, this is going to be a thing that happens. But let's look elsewhere now, because Bishop and Torres, it's clear they've got some stuff going on, and there were some hints of maybe something in the episode tonight, and we talk about that a lot more in the reaction, but...
Yeah, there's something.
Where does this something go? Does this something become even more something in this upcoming episode?
Yeah, and we actually have a video that we'll also link below that we just talked about this last week before this episode of where we think Bishop and Torres are going to be going.
Yeah, so...
Kind of a deeper discussion.
I think we could be moving slowly towards something in this episode. Maybe we'll get a few more hints. I don't think we're going to jump full in on anything. I feel like it's going to be a big epic Bishop and Torres episode if they do actually get together on the show.
Well, I don't want to dive too much into it because I want to save it for the review, but whatever is in that letter that happened in tonight's episode, I feel like is going to have a lot of play throughout the upcoming episodes, and I feel like they aren't going to sit on it for a long time. I kind of just don't. You can't with something like that.
I hope not, because I think NCIS LA kept the contents of that stinking box a secret for a really long time.
Faith. Steve and Frank are not going to do me dirty like this. I know it. They're going to come through. They have come through. They're going to come through. It's not going to be...
Box 2.0.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Box 2.0 where we don't hear about this letter, or The Office where we had Jim was going to give Pam that letter, I think in season 2, the Christmas episode, and then we didn't learn anything really more about the letter until I think it was the final season. I feel like this letter's going to come into play again this year.
I think it probably will come into play at some point. I mean, other than that, I don't get enough strong clues that we're getting anything big on Gibbs and Sloane in this upcoming episode. I think that's kind of being stored away. But the truth is, we have less to go on in this preview than we've had these past few weeks, because we've had the luxury of promos. We've had a sense of what CBS was doing. All they have given us this time around a teeny little synopsis, some photos, but all of us within the NCIS world, you give us a crumb and we will turn it into a meal.
That's right.
A steak, give me some creme brulee. Let's just get really hungry while we're doing this video.
We got 2 weeks to wait. We gotta dive into what we're getting.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping this will be a fun episode. It seems like there's some interesting stuff coming up on the other side of it, including a creepy motel case that we'll tell you about at some other point. But for now, we want to know from you guys. Give us your thoughts, your theories, your hopes on NCIS Season 17, Episode 6 in the comments. And also give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further. Get a shirt like this one by checking out the link in the description to the CARTERMATT store. And we'll see you here next time